today po, uh, I asked Sister Aggie if I could share with you po yung mga kaalaman po na pinrovide po ng Panginoon para ma-realize nyo po kung bakit nga po tayo tinawag na likha niya in His own image and likeness. Ano ho. And that's what actually ang natutunan ko po doon sa practice na pinag-aralan ko po, yung tinatawag naming functional medicine po. No? So today, I also asked si Crizan, mamaya po, I'm not sure kung na-distribute na po sa inyo dyan, meron pong yung questionnaire. No? So tatanungin natin kayo, maybe as a group na lang, baka kulang po yung aking na-photocopy. But it's a survey questionnaire po para malaman nyo kung sakaling, kung gaano po kalusog yung inyong nutrisyon, no? Or yung inyong diet na tinatawag. Ay, here. Saan siya? Nawala. It was saved, actually. Oh, where did it go? Baka... Ito na lang. Yun. So, this morning po, I'll discuss why food is medicine. So I titled it, Food and Medicine, Food as Medicine, but actually, food is medicine. No? So, there na. Okay. There. Okay, some technical. So nakuha niyo na po yung survey questionnaire po. So kung kulang po, you can na lang as a group Tapos sa likod po niyan may parang scoring. Tingnan natin po. Of course, we're all Christians, so we need to answer it as honestly as possible. Kung ano po niya, madali lang naman po yung mga tanong diyan, but parang dinidescribe lang po kung paano kung ano po yung kalidad o antas ng inyong nutrisyon, no? And then later on, mamaya po pupunta po ako doon. I don't know kung narinig niyo na po yung tinatawag na group consult, no? So today, those of you, I ask si Crizan, those of you who are interested to join a group consultation, I will start po muna doon sa mga taong tinatawag naming may diabesity. No? So yung may diabetes na, tapos medyo may kalusugan sa pangangatawan. Okay? So later on, I'll discuss more about that. So if you want, lalo na po kayo dun sa mga tao na meron tinatawag na polypharmacy. Yan po yung karamihan ng mga pasyente ko po. Yung tatlo-tatlo na po ang gamot sa diabetes, sa sakit sa puso, pero and yet, they don't feel healthy. No? So, I'll teach you kung paano po ninyo mare-reverse at the same time, mababawasan or completely, hopefully, just some of the patients that I've been able to help, matigil yung pagkakaroon nyo ng tinatawag nating maintenance medication. Anyway, so today po, ito, food and medicine, food as medicine, but indeed, food is medicine. So that's what I will try to convince you po today, sa ituturo ko po sa inyo. But before that, I asked, sabi ko, what does the Bible say about our health? So then I Googled it. So these are the verses that I gathered that talks about health. That indeed, it is God's will for us to be healthy. In fact, in the Old Testament, there were a lot of things that was provided to Moses about, pag inaral nyo po ang Bible, doon sa Exodus po, it's all about public health. It talks about everything, the knowledge there is still relevant and useful up to present time. But these are the three verses that's my really favorite. So, for I will restore health to you and heal you of your wounds, says the Lord in Jeremiah 30:17. Do you know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were brought at a price, therefore honor God with your bodies. No? And my son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. So that's when I realized as a doctor, I really do not want to practice anymore illness medicine lang. I want to really practice health and wellness medicine. And that's what led me po to the path of what we call functional medicine. Because as I've said, we are an amazing creation. Like before I shared this in one of the lectures that I gave here in CCF, no? Today po, your body will be having 23,000 breaths, 100,000 heartbeats, 73 trillion cells coordinating simultaneously, okay? Performing 1 septillion functions at the exact time, okay? And every moment of your life, there's a constant state of dying and being reborn of your cells. Billions of cells will die and quietly replace themselves. Your cells are the highest faculty of the entire universe. You are the entire collection of all the intelligence in the stars. Why? Because we are an amazing creation of an amazing God. Amen po ba? Yes. So, there. So, that's the system of our body po. No? Kita nyo, sino po ang mga engineer dito who can figure this out? This is actually, hindi na nga siya mabasa eh. This is how the several systems of our body. No? So, tandaan nyo po, tulad ng sabi ko, ang katawan natin, yes, gawa po siya sa iba't ibang parte ng organ, pero ito po ay tumatakbo because of a system. And this is the design of God's system. Very complex, not even complicated, no? And that's what we tried to study. And we're still trying to study it po, how complex our body is, no? So, now, I told Sister Aggie, Sister, how can I be of help as a doctor, as being a fellow CCF brother? No? How can we build a healthy community? So Life to the Max is I know some of you have suffered from some chronic illnesses or still suffering from chronic illnesses. But as I've said, what I've learned po about this creation of God is that it's God's will as well for us to be healthy. So today, I'd like to make this as my talk points po. No? How do you know if you are healthy? What do you want your health for? And when can we say that a community is really healthy? No? And who's in charge of making the community healthy? And why is it important to remain healthy? Okay? So, the survey is actually one way for you to find out, no, how healthy is your nutrition or your diet. No? Kasi nutrition is foundational and fundamental to becoming healthy or to remain healthy or to optimize your health. No? And together as a community, we have what we call sociogenomics. No? In fact, this is in the United States po. No? This is what's that the community serving as a cure. No? So together, no? So those people who suffer from chronic illnesses, if they're part of a group, no? It has been studied that it's part of the healing process. No? In fact, it's a way to really heal one another. Okay? But this is our current situation po. No? With modern medicine, with modern illness medicine, the aging population is skyrocketing. I think this room is filled with that. No? So, but that's the ano ho. No? So in fact, there's a prediction that about 92 million, those who are above 65 years old and up, no? Tinatawag natin. So the aging population is increasing. Hindi ko na po tatanungin yung edad ninyo. Okay? We're all young here. Okay. So, okay, but this is also the problem. Chronic diseases is also skyrocketing. No? So that's why we said it's good to be able to achieve longevity, but what is longevity without vitality? No? It's good if you have both. No? So, because this is what's plaguing us right now. There's really an epidemic of chronic diseases. And those are the factors that will lead to why you will have or you will suffer from chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, of course, cancer, autoimmune disease, no? Um, so, but this is also the problem. The current medical field is so focused almost entirely on care after illness, when the disease is there already. There's so much advancement there already. But the problem is we don't know when we may become chronically ill. So that's why, that's what led me into the path nga po. I was not satisfied anymore. I practiced illness medicine for 7 years. I've been a doctor for 16 years. No, I practiced illness medicine for 7 years. And I felt like I was just a drug pusher, sorry to say. Because that's what I was doing, just really prescribing drugs. No? So everything was just a transaction between the doctor and the patient. Okay? But there are challenges of the 21st century healthcare. So there's so much information overload, no? Hindi nyo na po alam kung ano yung totoo, kung ano yung tama, no? There's such a thing as nutritionism, no? So that's what some industries are trying to happen, no? To make it happen, because if you get confused, you will not just follow. Or some patients of mine, they say, Doc, lahat naman tayo mamamatay, no? So, but I say, well, it's okay if it's directly 6 feet under the ground, but what if it's not, right? What if it's a prolonged suffering that you become a burden to yourself or to your family or to the people who love you, no? So, information overload, that's the problem. Nung araw kasi, the doctor, there's a paternalistic relationship between the patient and the doctor, no? Everything, ako ang doktor, sumunod ka sa akin, no? But now, patients know more, no? Because of information overload. And then there's a lot of vulnerable populations nga po. As I've said, the aging population is increasing. Okay? And then there's this interest, the big food and big pharma, no? And big hospitals as well. No? I used to work in one of the biggest hospitals. Actually, I worked with the 2 biggest hospital networks. So I know, in a way, I'm an insider. No? I mean, nothing ano po about them. It's just that, as I've said, people nowadays, because of information overload, would prefer not to be sick. No? Wouldn't you want to remain healthy? Like if you're 80 years old and yet you feel like you're still, like, who was the one dancing a while ago? No? That you can still dance that way? No? Na talagang napapasunod din ako eh. I don't really dance, more so in public. But anyway, so and then of course, rising costs. No? It's so expensive. No? That's why some hospitals are being run like a hotel. No? But I mean, but when you look at those hospitals, when you go to their food court, you look at the food that they're selling, it's really going to make you sick. No? So, but it's supposed to be, a hospital is supposed to be an area of, a sanctuary of healing, and yet you're being fed toxic foods. No? So these are the challenges of the 21st century healthcare, but at the same time, it's not being matched anymore by illness medicine. So this is the conventional path. No? You start healthy, then you start developing symptoms, depending on which part of the body. Let's say it's a headache, you go to a neurologist. Chest pain, you go to a cardiologist. No? And then they try to investigate, is there a disease already? Is your BP high? Let's bring it down. Is your blood sugar high? Let's bring it down. So they know what it's called, but they don't know why you have it. Okay? That's why you end up there, having more surgeries, more drugs, and more procedures, and more doctors. Kaya nga in my practice, these are the kinds of people who come to me. I call them having the 3MD syndrome. Sino po bang may 3MD syndrome dito? Yan, they have multiple doctors to see because they have multiple diseases and they take multiple drugs. Okay? But you ask them, do you feel healthy? Do you feel good? How do you feel now? So they're tired actually been taking taking those many drugs po. No? So this is the practice that this is how I explain the practice or the approach that I do. Originally po, as far as illness medicine is concerned, I am a general internist. I am a specialist when it comes to adult diseases. But years ago, I decided I don't want to manage diseases. I want to manage health of a person. And I want to manage the person. Okay, so that's what led me into this path. As I've said, the body is divided into different organs, but the body is being run by 7 interconnected, interrelated, integrated systems. That's how God designed it, no? These 7 systems. I always compare ang katawan po natin, kung narinig nyo na po ako magsalita, kinukumpara ko ang katawan natin sa kotse. Tulad ng kotse nyo, iba-ibang pyesa, pero ang nagpapatakbo sa kotse nyo, ang sistema nito. Ang sistema ng kotse para umandar, kailangan po niya ng gasolina, tubig, langis, baterya, hangin ng gulong, elektrisidad, right? So lahat po yun equally important. Pag merong isang kulang doon, let's say kulang ng tubig ang radiator, aandar pa rin yung kotse. Pero kung magaling kayo sa kotse, siguro mapapansin nyo may kaibahan sa performance. But syempre, pag hindi nyo manually pinalitan yung tubig sa radiator, pag bumigay po yung radiator, yung kotse nyo, hindi na siya aandar. Tama po? Right? So, ganun din po yung ating katawan. Itong 7 sistema na to, pinapatakpo po yan ng tinatawag nating metabolic reserve. Ano po yung metabolic reserve? Yun po yung micronutrients like vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. So, saan po lahat galing yon? Sa pagkain, right? So, then ang katawan natin kailangan din ng macronutrients tulad ng fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Okay? And then, kailangan din natin ng antioxidants. No? Kasi katulad ng kotse nyo, ang kotse nyo naka-expose sa araw, sa init, sa lamig, no? Sa ulan, then it can develop rusting or kalawang. So our body also produces that. We call it free radicals. That's why we need antioxidants. Okay? Then, kailangan nyo din po ng hormones. Yung hormones is the only substrate na pinoproduce ng sarili nyong katawan. And the hormones, as we age, also declines. Okay? So, that's what leads to premature aging to some people. Kasi the decline of their hormones is not compatible with their age. No, that's why you see some of your relatives, no? You're older than them, but you look younger than them, right? Or your batchmates, no? I have some batchmates who look like my uncles because they age prematurely, no? So, then our body also needs enzymes. Like your car, may mga brake fluid siya, may mga kailangan ng lubrication, yung mga maliliit na pyesa, ano ho. So, very similar talaga tayo sa kotse. But there's a big difference between the system of your car and the system of our body. No? Yung system ng body natin, pagkakulang yung mga binanggit ko pong substrates, no? God created so much way of it being able to restore it to a balanced state. Kasi sistema po siya eh. So pagkakulang yung mga binanggit ko po, yung tinatawag nating metabolic reserve, ito pong mga system na to, gagawa siya ng paraan to maintain homeostasis or balance. No? In order to maintain the physiologic resiliency of your organs. Kaya po pag nagpakita na ng ebidensya yung mga organs ninyo na may disease na siya, too late na po yun. Ibig sabihin, inubos nyo na po yung lahat ng resources na binigay at nilagay ng Panginoon dyan, kaya nagmanifest na po siya ng sakit. No? Kaya minsan po, pag hindi balanse yung sistema, may mga nararamdaman po kayo. No? Pero pag pumunta kayo dun sa doktor, halimbawa, chest pain, so kala nyo puso, then pupunta kayo sa cardiologist, yung cardiologist, iimbestigahan niya yung puso ninyo, either imaging test, no? Pero wala po siyang makitang ebidensya na may disease na yon. Because sometimes, yung sintomas po ninyo is not yet at the organ level ang problema. Nandito pa po sa systems level. No, may imbalances. Tulad ng halimbawa, high blood. High blood po, from a systems perspective, is not a disease. It's actually a sign. A sign that you have a lot of micro and macronutrient deficiencies. So, example, pag kulang po kayo sa magnesium na mineral na galing po yan sa mabeberdeng dahon, tataas po ang inyong blood pressure. Pag kulang kayo sa vitamin D, tataas po ang inyong blood pressure. Pag kulang kayo sa antioxidants na tinatawag nating CoQ10, tataas ang inyong blood pressure. Pag kulang po kayo sa protina sa diet ninyo, tataas ang inyong blood pressure. Pag kulang kayo sa napakahalagang fatty acids, we call it omega-3 fatty acids or fish oil, tataas din ang inyong blood pressure. So, kung lahat yan kulang sa inyo, kung kaya tumataas ang blood pressure ninyo, and yet pag pumunta kayo sa akin, bibigyan ko lang kayo ng pampababa ng blood pressure ninyo. Which is wala namang masama doon, kaya lang dapat pagbigay nung drugs, lalo na kung sobrang taas ng blood pressure, dapat investigahan na bakit kaya mataas ang blood pressure nitong tao na to. Kasi baka kulang kayo sa mga yon. That's why kung hindi ko iimbestigahan kung bakit or why do you have hypertension, then when you come back to me, after 1 month of taking the drugs, and you come back to me, mataas pa rin, what will the doctor do? They'll give you another kind of antihypertensive medication. But they're not addressing the root cause, why do you have high blood pressure? So why would the system be imbalanced? Here, at the bottom of the tree. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, stress, relationship, trauma, all of those things are the root causes why we get sick. Okay? That's why in my practice po, I used to know na kala ko pag na-diagnose ka na ng diabetes and hypertension, yun na yun. Katapusan na, wala na. No? But I have reversed through God's healing power and knowledge that He imparted through functional medicine. I've reversed diabetics. I've reversed hypertension. No? So, because I understand now how God designed the body. No? So, this is what we normally do po. No? So, we try to address the underlying cause so that you don't have to go there. Then you don't have to end up having 3MD syndrome. Okay? But of course, many of the things to address the root causes of your diseases, part of it is you have to decide how you're going to change it, no? I mean, even if I give you a food plan, if you don't want to follow that, then I cannot help you po. That's why the second question, what do you want your health for? No? So some of the patients who come to me, I ask them, why did you come see me? I mean, I remember having one patient who has 3MD syndrome. Most of his doctors were actually my teachers in med school. All experts in their field of medicine, no? Endocrinologists, cardiologists, pulmonologists, no? Lahat ng doktor niya, teacher ko sa med school. So sabi ko, sir, ano hong ina-expect nyo sa akin? Kasi lahat ng doktor nyo, teacher ko. Generalist lang po ako, general internist lang po ako. Do you expect me to help you manage your diseases? Kasi pag ganun po, sasabihin ko na po sa inyo, hindi ko po kayo matutulungan. But if you telling me that you want me to manage your food, your sleep, your exercise and movement, your stress level, your breathing, then I'm the doctor po. But you have to decide whether you want to give up all of that. Do you want to give up your smoking? Do you want to give up your Coca-Cola? No? Because if at this point in time you will say to me, no, then we don't have to waste each other's time. I am not the doctor for you. So, you need to ask this, no? If you want longevity and vitality, no? Then why do you want it? Okay? Me, my purpose now, I realized is that, yun nga, to make people realize that God really indeed want us to be healthy. That God created this body with a lot of healing potentials. Kaya lang po hindi natin nagagamit, no? So what are the usual health goals of the clients that I see? So many of them, I want more energy, no? They've been to several doctors na trying to find out whether they have anemia, they have cancer, why do they have fatigue, no? Why they're tired all the time, why they're sleepy all the time. So some of them naman, yun, nowadays, di ba ho, you've heard of the term mental health, no? So many people are having depression, mood disorders, anxiety, no? In my practice, I see high school students, no, being brought to me by their parents because they're given already antidepressant by the psychiatrist and yet they're not improving. Okay? So they want to control their moods, or I don't want to be sick and be a burden, then I want to lose this. Oh, that's also my problem. Okay? So there's a reason why there, no? Then 50, 60 years old, I want to be able to move without pain, no? And be able to dance that way. Kanina, no? So, but this is the reality po. What we spend on trying to be healthy, 88% is spent on medical services. But these are the ways for you to become healthy. No? So next is, when can we say that a community is healthy? Okay? So can I say that the life to the max community is healthy? I think spiritually healthy. Yes? Right? Then, but of course, our life, there's the spiritual life natin, there's a physical body, and there's also a mental and emotional part of it, right? So that's when all of those things are thriving, that's when we say that we are really optimally healthy. But alam nyo po, there's a survey done since the 1950s wherein they did a survey on the different elements of being, of the sense of well-being. No? That is mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relational, all those things. Only 7% of people around the world are thriving in all elements po. The rest, 77% are thriving only in one element. The rest may be thriving in one or two elements. No? So, ganun po kano. So, a community is healthy, maybe if you see this, right? So, I guess the picture describes a community that is healthy, no? So this is how we can achieve this healthy community. You have to look in all of this, what we call determinants of health, biological determinants of health. No? So nutrition, fitness and movement and exercise, and of course, sleep. These are what we call positive biological determinants of health. Huwag niyo po siyang ikompromiso. In fact, i-enhance ninyo, you're guaranteed to remain healthy. Okay? So, that at the same time, there are negative determinants of health. So, like weights. No? Weight is not just a number. You have to look into your body composition because that body has a muscle, has fat. No? In fact, that fat, importante rin nga yung distribution niya. Okay? Because that fat can be damaging to that body. So that's why we don't need not just a health care, we need a health ecosystem. Okay? The problem is, even this one is very, very compromised. No? So, in fact, that's why I want to understand and find out how healthy is your nutrition so that, because that's the beginning. If you really want to be healthy, you have to first look into what you are putting in your mouth. Okay? So, we are all well to begin with. No? This is a beautiful baby, right? But, this is our data po. No? 368,000 preterm births annually. This is a Philippine data. Almost 400,000 babies are born premature. Some of them survive because of modern medicine and its technology, no? But the quality of life as they grow up also is affected. Others, those who do not have the means, also do not survive. No? In fact, out of the top 10 causes of premature death among Filipinos, 3 po doon nangyayari sa mga bagong panganak. No? Neonatal infection, congenital defects, and premature birth. With modern technology, some of those who can afford it actually are able to survive. No? Kaya nga, pag tinignan mo, those yung nanganak sa lying in clinic versus dun sa nanganak na parang hotel na ospital, you find the same outcome. No? Merong premature doon, may premature din dito. May congenital defect dito, may congenital defect din. Dito lang, mas napapahaba, no? O mas matindi ang attention na nabibigay, no? At the expense of so many costs, no? So, but there is such a thing as what we call developmental origins of health and disease, no? Lahat po ng kondisyon na nakakaapekto sa inyo as an adult there, malaking bagay po yung fetal development. Okay? That's why yung kalusugan ng nanay bago pa man tumabuntis, napakahalaga po. Kasi the outcome is affected if to begin with the mother is already unhealthy, no? So there. So it's not just about genes lang po, but all of these things is what lead to why we have an epidemic of chronic diseases, no? So another way of looking at it, no, there. Nutrition, toxins, stress, sleep, movement. Of course, nowadays, most mothers are working mothers, no? Even more stressed than their husbands because of their work, no? All of that has an impact on that outcome, no? Or if the mother is unhealthy with regard to this, no? Or especially this one, sabi nila, women, before you go out of your house, you already applied around 200 toxins in your body, no? Because of makeup, hair dye, those things. That gets absorbed, and those things remain in your body, and those things later on leads to those conditions. Okay? So, marami po bang tinamaan? Sorry po. Okay. Okay. So there, even yung mga, yan. So hospitals here right now, they have high-tech incubators, they have different specialties in medicine, maternal, fetal medicine, mga very high-tech po. But all of this, you know, why these things happen to women and their pregnancies? Because of all of this. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, kahit pa walang kaibahan po ang outcome ng nanganak sa parang malahotel na ospital versus dun sa lying-in clinic. There's no difference. The difference only is the cost. Okay, or the attention, but the outcomes, the same. Okay? So, now, so as I've said, since this is very crucial, foundational, and fundamental, and God created everything for us, so we know that food is medicine, as I've said. So let's start with food. Okay? So, but how nutrition changed the past decades? No? Because food is medicine, food is connection, food is information, and food is energy. Food is medicine. I'll discuss the details about it later on po. No? Food is connection. I remember when I was a kid, when it's time to have dinner or lunch, tatawagin ka talaga. Uupo kayo as a family, no? Sit down, discuss, converse, and all these things. But now, what do we eat? We eat in the car. We eat in our office table. No? So wala na. There's no more communication. But in some cultures, this is how the family is connected, through a family meal, right? No? And of course, food is information to your genes. Everything that you eat, those phytochemicals or phytonutrients from the different colors of foods, those are talking to your genes. Whether you have a protective gene that should be turned on, or whether you have a defective gene that will predispose you to disease that should be switched off, that can be provided to you by the food that you are eating. And food is energy. That's why we don't believe in diet. Because all macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates is how your cells will be provided with energy. Okay? So I don't believe in diet. I use diet in some instances, like ketogenic diet to my cancer patients, no? Ketogenic diet to those patients who are morbidly obese, no? But it's medically supervised, not by Facebook, but by the doctor. Okay? Okay? So, there. These are the things that you find. You see, the FDA allows 10,000 chemicals untested for humans into your food and into your food packaging. Okay? That's why I say, those things that you buy in the groceries, those are not foods. Those are all ingestibles. Okay? Because food, as defined, is supposed to nourish your body. No? It's supposed to nourish the body that God created. No? Because those foods, the real, whole, unprocessed food, is also God's creation. Right? Okay. So, this is how nutrition have changed. So, that was the Stone Age. This is where they based the Paleolithic diet. So maraming tao, naka-paleo diet ako ngayon. No? So naka-subscribe naman sila sa meal plan. The paleo, these people, before they eat, they have to hunt, they have to run, they have to really fight for their food. No? So they're very active. And of course, those animals that they're hunting are eating grass, eating trees, no? Not steroids or antibiotics, no? So there's a big difference there, no? So that's why this one, okay, there's a big difference. Cattle roam free on a pasture and eat only grass versus that one. Okay? So agricultural objective for the past 60 years, there. Profit, profit, profit at our expense. That's why we get sick po, no? And this is I don't know if you've seen this data already. Payag po ba kayo dyan? Tingnan nga natin yung mga nasa table ninyo. Okay. Pinoys have worse health habits in Asia, says survey. Fiesta, eat all you can, buffet, right? Or instant noodles. So, those things. Okay? So, we have the worse unhealthy eating habits even to our children, no? Pag yung mga anak ko, pagpunta nila sa isang party, pagbalik, okay, punong-puno na yan ng candies, no? Kahapon, nung last Thursday nga, my youngest daughter was very sad because I did not allow her to join the field trip. The school arranged a field trip to bring them to McDonald's. So I said, no, you will not attend, okay? Then I'm going to have a talk with the principal. I'll say, why don't you plan a trip to the fruit market, right? So because some kids don't even know anymore certain vegetables and certain fruits, no? And yet, they're bringing my kid to McDonald's. No offense to those who are working in McDonald's, but as I've said, I'm here to teach you the difference between what is real and whole unprocessed foods, okay? So then, diet is probably the greatest single source of chemical exposures, including nutrients, non-nutritive chemicals, pesticides, and others. Okay. Sarap niya, no? Kare-kare, crispy pata. Okay, gutom na po kayo? So these are environmental toxic exposures. So, this one, it's in the bottled water that you are drinking every day. Okay? Bisphenol A. Okay. Invest on an expensive glass or a BPA-free container po. No? If hydration is very good, you really need that. No? But you're not only destroying your body, you're also destroying the planet. Okay? The planet is also God's creation. Okay? So these are the things. So you see this, di ba? Some of these are even labeled healthy. No? Alam niyo po sa Amerika, bawal po ang mag-market sa mga bata or gamitin ang mga bata bilang modelo. Pero dito nga may hotdog nakalagay. Kids can tell. If you see how hotdog is made, you will not eat hotdog anymore. Okay? So nutrient deficiencies may be the root cause of symptoms and diseases affecting mankind, no? Because the food that we're eating are not only damaging to us, not only toxic, but it's actually depleted with nutrients. Wala po siya ng mga substrates na binanggit ko kanina. Meron, pero gawa sa chemical. Matalino po yung system na to eh. Alam niya kung ano yung kailangan niya at alam niya kung ano yung hindi. Okay? So, it's a very intelligent, adaptive, biologic system what God created. So you cannot, no matter how advanced the technology that they create, no, it's no match to the complexity of this particular system. Okay? So, let's look at that. No? From the farm to the kitchen, bago po dumating sa inyo, the weather, the soil condition, everything that's done to your food before it enters your body, wala na. Ubus na yung nutrients. You see, chicken, pag finreeze ninyo, wala na. B vitamins, canned, wala na. So, ubus na po. That's why we are having an epidemic of micro and macronutrient deficiencies leading to diseases later on. See how, so that's the whole wheat flour, ni-refine, wala na po, wala nang laman. Ha? So, gaw-gaw na lang po yung kinakain natin. Okay. Why measure? Why is it important for you to know all of this? As I've said, magnesium. Isa pa lang na mineral yan. Pero, konektado po yan dito, 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 dito. Yan po yung possible root causes. So kaya kailangan yung malaman. No? That's why, if you give me your food diary, like you give me a 1-week food diary, walang halong pambobola dun sa food diary, I can tell you likelihood, no, what are your deficiencies, no? So as long as you tell me the truth po. So okay, so that's why we measure. So what I practice po is called measured wellness. Kasi even naman yung illness, di ba, mine-measure, then we can also measure how healthy or how unhealthy you are. Okay? So, but who's in charge of our health? Si doktor ba? Kayo? No? Kayo po, no? Who's in charge? But this is the problem. Sabi nila, we are being fed by the food industry which pays no attention to our health and are treated by the health industry which pays no attention to food. No? Tuwan-tuwa nga sila, pinas nila yung universal health care law, right? But I was reading it, I downloaded the law, no? Ang haba. Pero wala pa ho akong makitang specifics. It's all about disease management. Coverage for chemotherapy, coverage for this, coverage for that, no? Coverage for diseases. That's not a health care. That's disease care. Right? Kasi why would you need chemotherapy if you don't have cancer? Why would you need anti-diabetic drugs if you don't have diabetes? No? I mean, I'm happy that the government is supporting, but can you imagine those amount of money if you spend it on agriculture, on organic farming, or providing, alam nyo sa ibang bansa po, doctors are able to prescribe food as medicine. We prescribe, it gets covered. Okay? So because that's how you're going to remain healthy. If you're healthy, you don't need to see a subspecialist doctors. You don't need to take drugs, right? No. So that's the situation po. So that's why this is the toolkit that needs to be addressed by any doctors that you should be seeing. This should be addressed sa inyo. Not the disease, but the things that will determine if you're healthy. So let's say, I'll show you an example of one very, very simple way of determining whether you're healthy or not. Okay? So, yung mga tatamaan, sorry na lang po kasama na ako doon. But, okay, there. Okay. Tingnan nyo po yung katabi nyo, para may kamukha. Oh. It's the 5th vital sign. Why? Okay, so, sorry po pare-pareho po tayong Christian. Okay. We have to tell the truth. So, there. Kasi, ito po yun. That's the root cause why your blood sugar will slightly elevate, blood cholesterol, blood pressure, and then how is this managed? Drugs. But the root cause was never addressed. That's why there's no guarantee that will not happen. So, it's like a cyclone, right? Okay. Through time po, pag hindi in-address yung root cause, that's what will lead into insulin resistance. Yan, you can measure that, no? Ask your doctor, Doc, can you measure my fasting insulin? Okay? If your fasting insulin is elevated, you are in for a surprise later on, no matter how young you are. Okay? You're going to have multiple complex chronic diseases later on. So, and then that's what it leads to, what we call it inflammation. Okay? So, parang cyclone, no? Kasi tingnan nyo po, the more insulin resistant you are, the more you gain weight or difficult for you to lose weight. The more you gain weight, the more insulin resistant you become. So you're like trapped in a cyclone. Okay? So, and then later on, leading more to a problem. So, today I'm going to be talking about, to those of you who are interested to have a group visit consultation with me later on, those with diabesity. Unahin ko po muna yung mga may diabesity. Kasi sila nga yung number 1 prematurely dying, no? But I mean, I also want to see the Lord, but sometimes that's not the end point immediately, right? So I'm not afraid of dying. I mean, I'm a Christian. But sometimes, if it's not yet your time, no? Then, as I've said, prolonged suffering, no? So a man is as old as his blood vessel. Because the blood vessel is the plumbing system of your body. So, this is why your heart will fail, why your liver will fail, why your kidneys will fail, why your eyes will get blind if your blood vessels are not healthy. Okay? So, to make the blood vessel healthy, so it's a balance of things, no? So tingnan nyo siya, ito, this is a blood vessel. Sabi dito, 68% of people who had a heart attack did not have a significant bara. No? Walang bara po yung ugat nila. 68%. Because heart attack does not begin when your blood vessel is severely occluded. No? Heart attack can happen pag pumutok po itong mga bara na to. Pero sometimes, marami pong tao, wala namang ganitong bara, pero nagkaka-heart attack pa rin sila. Kasi heart attack begins pag nasira po ito, yung wall na yan. We call that the endothelium. No? Most doctors know only of 5 reasons why people have a heart attack. High blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, high blood sugar, smoking, and obesity. But there are actually 400 risk factors why the endothelium gets damaged. Kasi pag nasira po ito, magkakaroon po ng punit. Mag-i-stimulate para mag-form ng blood clot. No? Mabubuo po yung blood clot, mababarahan. That's why, di ba, nakakarinig kayo ng tao na pumunta sa emergency room, talaga nag-heart attack, tapos pag-inject ng magic drug ng doktor, okay na siya ulit, no? Kasi natunaw po yung dugo. Tapos, dadalahin na siya sa cath lab, sisilipin yung ugat kung may bara, walang bara. So, sasabihin, wala namang bara hindi mo kailangan ng bypass, hindi mo kailangan ng angioplasty. Bababain mo lang yung blood pressure mo, yung cholesterol mo, yun lang, pababain mo lang siya, inumin mo to. Okay. Pero, yung mga other 395 risk factors were never addressed. That's why, pwede pa rin magkaroon ng damage to that endothelium. Because the endothelium is like, parang yung salamin po na yan. So, batuhin nyo yan ng mga maliliit na munggo. 400 na munggo araw-araw. No? Di ba magkaka-crack din yan? No? So, yun po. Kaya that's why, it's been 29 years since heart attack became number 1 killer of Pinoy and worldwide, and it still is the number 1 killer of Pinoy and in the world as the number 1 cause of premature death for 29 years. Hindi po nagbabago. No, despite the fact na ang dami ng modern na ospital, ang dami ng magagaling na doktor, na different societies of cardiologists, despite the fact that there are about 500 brands of medicine for high blood. But the disease still is the number 1 premature killer of Filipinos. Noong araw nga po, ang namamatay lang sa heart attack, matatanda Ngayon po, 35 years old, 40 years old are dying of heart attack. Okay? So that's the insulin resistance. You see there, bago po maging abnormal yung blood glucose ninyo, no, tataas na po yung insulin level ninyo. Pag inasahan ninyo na intayin ninyo yung fasting blood sugar ninyo na tumaas para masabi na kayo ay diabetic, mahuhuli po kayo. Because tumataas po yon pag said na. No? But yung insulin resistance, that happens decades before pa ho kayo masabihan na kayo ay may diabetes. So how do we assess? Sino po yung mahilig magpa-blood chemistry dito ng buwan-buwan? Yung mga blood cholesterol, sino po? Okay, so yan, tingnan niyo. Tingnan niyo yung triglyceride levels nyo, tsaka yung HDL, yung tinatawag nilang good cholesterol. Pagka yung ratio niya is ganito, you have insulin resistance. So, hindi nyo na kailangan magpa-test na. Tingnan nyo lang, reviewin nyo po, lalo na yung mga dati ninyong blood chem. No? Then, kaya, ito, so kung magagawa nyo yung fasting insulin naman, then yan yung computation. No? So, para malaman nyo kung meron kayong insulin resistance. Kasi pag meron po kayong insulin resistance, napakadami pong sakit or condition na associated with that. Not just cardiometabolic, even osteoporosis, even cancer, even autoimmune disease, even dementia. No? So that's why it's importante po yung insulin level. Okay? So these are just some of the advanced biomarkers. Kasi sa Amerika po, napaka-advanced na nila. Mayroong mga tests sila that still not yet available here in the Philippines. No? But this one is more predictive talaga, whether the likelihood that you're going to have a risk factor, a heart disease po. No? So I'll skip that. So these are the things that I said connected to insulin resistance. You see there? Okay? So there, lahat. Pag sinunod niyo yung current model na fragmented healthcare model, no? Ilang doktor ang pupuntahan nyo? 1. Ito, ibang doktor din yan, ibang doktor din yan, ibang doktor din yan. Kasi kanya-kanya sila ng parte. But iisa lang po ang dahilan, okay? Insulin resistance or the visceral adiposity. Okay? So nutrition is the first step in health optimization. So, there. So sino dito ang coffee drinker who loves coffee? Okay? So, tapos tingnan nyo yung sarili nyo sa salamin nyo mamaya, mga lalaki. Kung meron po kayong gynecomastia, okay? Then, it's sometimes too much of this will stimulate a hormone called aromatase, which converts your testosterone into estrogen. Kasi kahit lalaki kayo, meron kayong estrogen. Kahit babae kayo, may testosterone kayo. Basta kaya lang kailangan balanse. Pero pag masyadong mataas ang estrogen ng lalaki, that's why they have gynecomastia. Nagkakaroon kayo ng breast enlargement. Okay? So because coffee can stimulate that enzyme, we call it aromatase. So too much of that can convert your testosterone to estrogen, which leads to erectile dysfunction, which leads to gynecomastia. Okay? Too much wine. Okay, wine is good. No, alcohol is good in moderation, but if not, it will deplete you of all the different substrates that your body needs. Or those with 3MD syndrome, there, so all the drugs that you're taking also are what we call drug muggers. They deplete your system of all those nutrients. That's why it's not good to have a maintenance medication. In fact, there's no such thing as maintenance medication. No, you should not have. Your hypertension can be reversed, your diabetes can be reversed as long as you're going to address its root causes. So as I've said, food is medicine, but food should be like that. No? So, and then the solution, there. Sleep, relaxation. You know that relaxation is very biblical, right? No? It's part of the 10 Commandments, right? So rest and relaxation is part of God's will for us as well, no? You should have a Sabbath day, okay? Doesn't matter when is it, but you have to have one day of rest, no? Because that's how God designed our body to have. Even God rested, right? No? So, then, movement and exercise, movement and exercise, and then movement, exercise, and then sleep, and rest, and relaxation. Those are all important. So lifestyle daily choices. So food plan, ito. So I don't prescribe, I create programs or I prescribe food plans. As much as possible, I don't want to prescribe drugs, no? So this is an example of a food plan that I use for my diabetic patients. Yung mga may diabesity, no? Mga diabesity. So that's the features niyan there. So that's good. If you have all of this, this is the plan that you can use, no? And then we provide you a food list, a grocery list. We provide you a recipe book, no? There. And then those are the grocery lists. And then recipe index. Then these are some eating habits. If you have diabesity, your meal frequency is important. Then your eating patterns, your eating habits, no? You should not be eating after 8 o'clock. Because after 8 o'clock, your pancreas is going to sleep already. No? We have what we call chronobiology. Each of the organs of the body are also resting. So if you're going to eat a lot of ice cream after 8 o'clock, there's no more insulin that's going to metabolize that or bring that into your cells. Then that will have to be stored in the form of fat because wala nang insulin, tulog na si pancreas. Okay? So, then foods to avoid if you have that metabolic syndrome. Alam niyo yan, ano? High cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, may visceral adiposity. So these are the things that you should be. As I've said, food is medicine. Okay? Foods to include there. Yan, drink 1 to 2 tablespoons of this, no? If you have this, extra virgin olive oil, green tea, no? Especially if you have family history of dementia, this is very good for you, ho. Okay? So fibers, no? Gulay. Then extra virgin olive oil. Yan, no? Scientific po siya, no? So because it has this, we call it polyphenols. Okay? So then 3 nuts, like almond nuts, no? Those are the evidence po. It can lower your triglycerides, all of that. So instead of statins, why don't you eat nuts, almond nuts? Wag naman salted nuts, ha? not sweetened, but just the raw almond roasted nuts. Green tea, there, increases plasma antioxidant capacity. May anti-aging property pa siya. Okay, good for your blood, good for weight loss as well. Okay, foods to avoid. If you have high cholesterol, okay, and yet you're taking your statins, and yet this is the kind of food that we'll be seeing in your food diary, then you're just wasting your money on those drugs po. This is what you need to include when you're there. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, 70-80% cocoa is good actually for your blood vessel. Why is it good? Oh, here are the properties po. So, fish, green leafy vegetables have those properties. Those are the bioactive component that can help in the lowering of your cholesterol. Lowering of your blood triglycerides, no? Especially kung makita nyo sa blood chem nyo, ang taas-taas ng blood triglycerides nyo, then that's really a risk factor for you to have a heart disease or a heart event, okay? Or a stroke. No? So then, eat those fatty fish, no? Maganda lang sana yung galing talaga sa dagat. Okay? So, and then, there. Homocysteine, it's also an ordinary blood test po. Kung mapatest nyo yan, that means to say, you really have possibility na may mga bara ang ugat ninyo sa puso or sa utak. No? Kung sobrang taas po ng homocysteine ninyo, these are the foods that you should be consuming. Okay? Then, antioxidants, there, tomatoes, lahat naman po yan, meron tayo dito no? Meron nga ako kahapon, nagtanong, ang dami palang substitute sa mga blackberries na mga prutas, no? Meron yung tinatawag nilang haggis, meron yung, I forgot the other 7, but there's a lot of options po na hindi naman mahal tulad ng blueberries or blackberries na meron iba sa Quezon, ang dami, sa Batangas, ang dami, iba't ibang prutas, haggis, I forgot, masyado ng malalalim na Tagalog, pero ang dami po nating prutas na hindi natin na-explore. To those of you who are into farming, maybe you could find out what can we produce, no? Bignay, yes, that's one of them. No? So ang dami, 7 actually, kasi one of my patients sabi niya, Dok, ang mahal-mahal naman ng blueberries, hindi ko siya ma-afford, tapos wala naman akong mabili. So, nag-research po ako, I went to the agriculture, nakita ko may 7 pala, 7 substitute, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na Philippine wild raspberry. I forgot na the Tagalog term, pero ang dami po nating hindi na-explore na pagkain natin, no? So anyway, so this is how the practice is described po sa amin, no? It's called the P4 medicine. It's predictive, preventive, personalized medicine, and participatory medicine. Okay? So, in other words, as I've said, kayo po ang may responsibilidad sa kalusugan ninyo. No? So remember, there is such a thing that health is not a cycle, health is a continuum. So kahit nandito na po kayo, pwede namin kayong ibalik dito. Okay? So, or kung nandito kayo, why don't you remain here so that you don't end up having this kind of journey po. Okay? So this is an example, no, of someone. I asked permission from him if I can, So there, sorry the word, no, hindi po siya Christian. But that's how, he made a t-shirt kasi, no, because his mother was a diabetic and he saw his mom suffer. And at age 40, he was diagnosed to have diabetes. No, and he was not happy with the kind of care he got from the doctors. He was just like, pagbigay ng laboratory test niya, binigyan na lang siya kaagad ng several drugs, no? So he was not happy. And so he said, I'm gonna beat this, no? So he changed his lifestyle. Then I gave him that food plan, the cardiometabolic food plan, and he followed it to the letter. And then he monitored his lab tests, no? So until it became normal. So here he is, okay? But here he was, that's how much he lost. Okay? I'll show you his before picture. So this was how he was feeling when he saw me, 65. So those are here he was before. Okay? And here he is right now. See, he looks younger pa, di po ba? Okay? And he doesn't have to take all those maintenance medication. Okay? So, as I've said, food can be your medicine, the kitchen can be your pharmacy, your lifestyle and your life as a Christian can be your personal physician. So, to end, he said, if you listen carefully to the Lord your God and do what is right in His eyes, if you pay attention to His commands and keep all His decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. Alam niyo po ba yung mga Egyptian, yung mga mummy, when they were unearthed and they studied them, and they found out when they did they were suffering for so many diseases, no? Cancer, autoimmune diseases, no? Because yun nga, because of course they never listened to God, no? So I end with this in Exodus 15:26. I hope you learned something. Thank you po, and God bless.